Deva G is the owner of 8th Chakra Studio in Santa Ana, California. I was first drawn to Deva from his Instagram posts about promotions he had at his studio called Gongs and Bongs, which just for me sounded amazing. And the more I did research into Deva and 8th Chakra, the more I found his offerings of Kambo, Sananga, and Hape ceremonies. And that was very interesting to me in the journey that I'm on and the plant medicines and earth medicines that I utilize into my life. So today I'm very excited to sit down and talk with this man about his journey and the medicines that he likes to offer in his studio. Hope you enjoy the conversation. We'll see you on the other side. But first, a message from our sponsor. Our healing journey can be difficult and might feel lonely at times. That's why I love sound baths. Where we can get together in a community, we intrinsically support and feel supported by others. And that combined energy can help us go deeper into our own healing journeys. And all you have to do is just lay there for 1 hour and listen to beautiful healing sounds. I'm a sound healing practitioner, and I hold sound baths on a regular basis in the greater Seattle area. You can find my next sound baths on my website at adamrealhealing.com. That's Adam, A-D-A-M, Real, R-I-E-H-L, Healing, Healing.com. AdamRealHealing.com. Your healing is worth your time. And now an uninterrupted podcast with Deva G. All right, welcome back to the Journey of the Modern Soul. Today I'm on a Zoom call with a new friend of mine named Deva G from California. He owns a studio down there called 8th Chakra Studio. I kind of found Deva through social media and was just really, first of all, actually, and we'll talk about this later, but I was really drawn into his promotion called Gongs and Bongs. And being a sound healer myself and an avid cannabis user, I love that combination. It really spoke to me, and I'm like, damn, I wish I was in California so I can go to his studio. But that was the initial thing that drew me to you, Deva, and then I started going through 8th Chakra, your studio, and the offerings that you have, doing combo sessions, Hape, Sananga, all these beautiful earth medicines, and giving people a new modality to really be safe in and to help explore their healing. And that kind of lined up with right when I was exploring the ideas of what combo, what Hape, Sananga, and these different plant medicines can do for me. And so, I wish I was in California to see you personally, but I'm so happy to have you here on the show, brother. Thank you so much for taking some time today.
No worries, brother. Yeah, man. Yeah, thank you for asking me and being patient with me. I know I've been pretty crazy past couple of months and everything. I'll get more in details, but yeah, man. I feel good. Feel honored that you asked me to speak and ask about all these cool subjects that I love talking about. That sometimes I don't get to talk too much about to everybody, and you just kind of sound like a crazy person talking to everyone.
I
But
know.
yeah.
Yeah, I always tell people, man, this all this stuff, this metaphysical stuff, the plant medicines, it all sounds weird until you find your community to be in with it and talk about it, and then it's not so weird because, you got people around you that share common interest. So it's really finding that community. So, man, thank you for creating a community out there in California, man. 8th Chakra,
No worries,
the
no
real
worries.
nice, safe place for people to go and explore these journeys.
Yeah, I'll kind of touch in on a little bit on that story you're asking me before we jumped in on this call. The creation of the studio, A Chakra Studio, I never even had an intention, to be honest, of like, hey, I'm gonna create a yoga healing, plant medicine studio and in downtown Santa Ana. If you told me that, when I was younger and growing up, I would have laughed at you. I would have been like, what the hell are you smoking? Like, I spend more of my time on the rooftops over here, hanging out with the homies or decorating the rooftops, if you know what I mean, some graffiti artwork and whatnot. But that was something that I never would have imagined or thought. It's just something that I guess I always thought people, the more I kind of fell into my path of working with plant medicines and diving more deeper into my spirituality and everything, all my teachings and everything, everything accelerated. The more time I tell people I spent like investing in myself, like being connected to my true self and everything, and putting away all those distractions and everything that was bothering me or distracting me over here in my neighborhood, and being born and raised in Santa Ana and falling into like I guess the graffiti culture out here in the streets and everything. And I always knew something was gonna kind of like I needed something, and I was at the time my youth I was more really into like cannabis and mushrooms. Then in my 20s I kind of had a near death experience doing some of that stuff,
Okay.
on the buildings and everything and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I would just tell people that, that was like probably my spiritual awakening. That was like the big catalyst for me to see. I felt like a Neo coming out of the Matrix, being unplugged, and it was really a crazy moment in my life of not understanding what a spiritual awakening was, being
Right.
raised Catholic and everything, and not really even digging going to church, really anything of that stuff. I wasn't really into it at all, but I was just really heavy into partaking with medicines, and then after I nearly died, I really got more into using mushrooms more sacredly out there in nature, where I was at the beach or at the forest, wherever I was at, and it really just, I feel like, accelerated my healing and my spiritual growth. It probably wasn't until I would say in 2012 I was living for a while. I was living in New York, just doing like the photography, starving artist kind of diet or whatever kind of lit lifestyle. And,
Yeah.
I moved back turning 30, and I was a point where I kind of gave up pretty much drinking, being like I was an alcoholic. I was getting a lot of going to jail out there in New York. Just a lot of unnecessary stuff I was getting myself involved in, and just like even that, I was like, all right, I had to get out of that environment. But I kind of just dove more into my spiritual path. After that in 2012, when I gave up drinking, I was already vegetarian, but I pretty much gave up drinking and I went vegan, pretty much cold turkey and whatnot. And I was realizing how my diet was unhealthy. I was surviving off pizzas and beans or something, bean burritos or something out there in New York. I wasn't doing too good, so I just really shifted myself lifestyle when I turned 30, and I moved back down here to Santa Ana, California. And what really I tell people accelerated my own teachings or the space, everything I felt is finding my teacher. I say one of my teachers, my spiritual mentors. His name is Ram Das Bir Singh.
Okay.
He has a house right here in downtown Santa Ana. Off Forest, like a couple blocks away. But anyways, I just kind of really connected with him. He looks like Gandalf the Grey or Gandalf the White, big old white beard, and super old school hippie yogi. Been teaching out of his house for decades, and it's pretty much like my spiritual grandpa. But
beautiful.
I got really close to him. I was always hanging out at the house doing yoga. Every like 3-4 days a week at least there, and on the weekends I was spending a lot of time going to Native American church ceremonies or peyote ceremonies.
Okay.
And so I was just constantly, like I said, I just dove into everything, doing as much as I could, just to soak up my knowledge from elders, from teachers, from everybody. And I saw right off the bat, just sitting in peyote with teepee ceremony and with peyote medicine, that how much all the knowledge I was learning from Kundalini yoga meditation was really was like, oh my God, this is like the foundation of like how to sit in peace, and and everything, like body wise, mind and soul and everything. And I could really sitting in TP with someone who I got 3 metal plates and over 20 screws in my pelvis, from my injury. Yeah, so wow. It's I have a lot of discomfort and pain in my body, especially back then. I was really more, always just moving. And after ceremony, people were like, "Yeah, man, you sat up. That was your first ceremony. You sat up really well." And I was like, "Are you kidding me, dude?" I'm like fucking deep in pain, brother. You know how much cannabis I smoked to to sit here, dude. Like I'm in so much pain, dude. But it taught me a lot. Just going to ceremony when teepee really was like my foundation of like how to work with plant medicines.
Wow.
And the way I feel, I even I hold my ceremonies, or I sit with the Kambo medicine here at my studio. So it just kind of all these things I was doing and not really realizing that at the time, and I was just diving into my own spiritual path. But like I said, I never had an intention like, hey, I'm going to create this yoga healing studio, plant medicines. It just at a point it became where I got my older sister into the yoga at the house, and she was like, hey, let's become teachers. And I was like, oh, well, I was planning maybe when I turned like 33 or something. And she's like, just do it now. You'll be a teacher by the time you turn 33. And I was like, all right. My older sister's got her into this yoga, and she like really inspired me to do it. I was like, let's do it. So I took on that teacher training at the time, and I was still broke.
Yeah.
I was here living in downtown Santa Ana, you know, and yeah, honestly, it just became like you know, it was something I was just doing. I just trusted myself, my higher self, and was just going with the flow. And in that teacher training program, they told us, hey, you have to, you know, teach a couple classes, and you have to, you know, have everybody sign off and whoop-de-woo. So I ended up in the middle of, I think, in the teacher training, I think we got like evicted, I think, from a mistake. I got evicted from my other studio I was at.
Okay.
A couple buildings over. And it was this, thank God I was evicted, but it was a big blessing because I literally, for like literally a few hundred more bucks, I moved on up to like a better location right here in downtown Santa Ana.
Beautiful.
And better building and everything. And I still didn't even think like, hey, I'm gonna have a yoga healing studio. Like they knocked down all the walls in this space, and I literally was sitting right here on the teacher's bench, which is literally the old air conditioner vent that like I'm sitting on top of, but like a little, anyways. And I was just sitting here, and my brother, who was also renting a space, an artist, he came in here and he saw me kind of like just meditating. He walked in and he was like, yo, Dre, he's like, damn, you're going to be teaching classes here, huh? And like, then it hit me like, bam, like maybe this is why I have this studio. I got blessed with this location. And so it literally became a yoga studio pretty much right off the bat, where, you know, I was living here for the first 2 years, but, you know, at night for 2 weeks, 2 nights a week. First one night, it started with one night, maybe thinking like on Sunday nights, or, you know, everybody wanted to, we were missing being at the yoga house, or like, oh, let's just meet up at the old Dev spot and we'll do yoga and hang out and, you know, maybe smoke some reefer at the end.
Yeah, right.
I just wait, but yeah, that's how it was, you know, and it became like the spot for one night a week. And then we figured, all right, let's do it again. We'll do it Thursday, and we'll kind of keep the energy flowing from the house to here. And then, yeah, so that's kind of how it became off the bat. And then, you know, we were doing other ceremonies that we can't really advertise about because of, you know, stuff like that, medicines and whatnot. So,
yep.
You know, it was like, if you were here, you were here. You were part of it. If you hung out after class, you were part of the, you know, whatever, the after class, or, you know, the special things. But so we kind of had a lot of cool ceremonies here before we even like officially brought in Kambo. And
beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know if I managed, if I jump, that's a whole nother story, but
yeah. Well,
so,
it's, you know, I love how things can organically grow like that. You know, it's like there was the space that y'all had with Gandalf the White, you know, and then like you got your space. It's like, well, hey, let's continue this cool thing that we started over here. Deva's got this new spot. Let's go over there and do that there. And that organicness, you know, just like people that they need their healing. They want it, right? They might even not realize that that's what they want. They're just there for that community. But then the community shifted to your spot in 8th Chakra, and then boom, there you go. And it's so beautiful that you're there and you had that space. It was like Kitsman, you know. It's like it was there waiting for you.
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's beautiful, man.
Yeah, man. It's so I tell people, like, it's just really, it was an organic piece of something that just happened. And it's crazy because now I'm like literally going 8 years here now, and I'm literally finally becoming like, I had to officially be, like when I first started this space, it was like I was running my film business or whatever. And I literally had to go back and reinstate my business license for my film company. And now I'm turning the 8th Chakra Studio and Yoga and Kambo into like an LLC and everything. So it's crazy how much everything's almost kind of came back around in a circle, like with everything, the film and the medicine and the studio and everything. So
hell yeah. It's like watching your actualization moment. All these cool, weird things that you're like passionate about, film, plant medicines, yoga, spirituality. And it's just like, it all comes together in this beautiful, weird way that nobody expects. But there it is, man. That's your offering for the world.
Yeah, man.
That's beautiful.
So I'm gonna get into the combo story, I guess, now, right?
Yeah. How did that come into your life, man? Because that's something that I've, you know, it's been in a peripheral for me for a long time, and I shared with you just a couple weeks ago. I had my first combo session, and it was gorgeous, man. It was, I mean, it was brutal, and it was very energetic, but man, the aftermath was amazing. Yeah. So how did that medicine kind of like permeate into your culture, into where you're at now?
Yeah, it basically, it literally was like, I knew about combo when I was like really diving into like my knowledge or wisdom of like psychedelics,
Hmm.
like I don't know, back in like 2010, 2011 or something. And I went over it. Like I learned there's very little even stuff out on the internet at that time, and there was very poor stuff. And then very late after the Vice came out with a horrible propaganda piece on it.
Okay.
I hate some people not to watch, but um, uh, like I knew about it combo, but I hadn't really no desire to do combo, to be honest, because I was all about psychedelics and mushrooms and everything else.
Hmm.
But at the time, after kind of creating the studio during the first couple of years or so, more or less, I met my partner after a couple of years being here, and being the stepfather to her kids. Her knowing that I also wanted to be the father of my own.
Hmm.
She found out that she couldn't have any children at the time from what a doctor had told her.
Okay.
So we basically pretty much just kind of just sought out combo after that.
Okay.
To be like more specific, like one of our good friends actually just told us, he was HIV positive at the time, and it was just heavy news. Like, whoa, dude!
Yeah.
Like, you don't expect someone that's come to my studio. Anyways, it just kind of just shocked us, and like he was real close to me and my wife at the time. Were cool, and my wife just like looked over to him after a yoga class and said, "All right, cool, we're gonna call in combo. We're gonna do combo," because at that time, my partner, she had a crystal shop, like slash smoke shop in LA when I met her already, and she had opened she ended up opening a healing studio, the Bodhi Healing Studio, right next to her shop. So right off the bat, she's like, "All right, we're gonna call combo. We're gonna be doing combo in 2 weeks." And like, it was crazy. This was literally within a week or two. Then we had met some other brother who was like a good soul brother of mine, and he ended up just started serving combo at her spot in LA, and it was a big snowballing effect. We finally hit in LA, then we brought it over here to Santa Ana, and once it was first bi-weekly, then it became weekly, and then we've been serving here, pretty much straight for like 6 years now.
Wow. Was combo ever illegal? I can't remember if it was like ever one of those things, because I know hallucinogenics were always on that list, but I'm not sure if combo was ever on there.
No, combo is not illegal. There is a couple places where it is illegal, but it's because it's more like for ownership of the tribes and stuff. But
gotcha.
A few countries, but it's not illegal. It's not psychoactive,
right?
So it's not a psychedelic. A few years back, I forgot what year it was. It was being. I don't know how to say this right, but it was being questioned whether it possibly was going to be made illegal or not a few years ago.
All right.
And but now they can't. So it's pretty crazy. So
yeah. So did your wife have did your wife have luck with combo with her infertility?
Yeah. So I have 2 healthy babies thanks to combo. Pretty much it works. Wow. The proof is in the pudding,
It really is, and that's, the combo is one of those medicines that I found that like, that people want proof. Some people want some medical, scientific proof, data, blah, blah, blah. Man, there's certain things that just work, and I don't care how they work. I don't care if it's placebo effect, and I think that it works, so it works. If it's just beyond our scope of scientific understanding that it works. But when there's things like this, like combo for me, like my first experience was, it helped me release so much stuff, like my ego, a lot of the stuff that I've been really kind of banging my head against the wall, like at this stopping point of like, man, why can't I just release this, or where is this next step for me? Combo was one of those things for me that really just kind of let me get that out and let me create the space that I needed, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, to understand that I am past that thing, that I'm not that story anymore. And a lot of times, like, I don't know about with your wife, but whenever, somebody in an authoritative figure, like a doctor or somebody in that kind of field tells you something, it's hard for us not to believe it because they're the authority, right? But it's not always true, right? Just because this doctor said that thing doesn't mean that's true for you. So exploring those different ways of finding your own truth, right? So utilizing combo to say, okay, well, I'm gonna ingest this medicine, and I'm gonna find my own truth with this, and see how that resonates with me, and see if I can heal some of that they think is wrong, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I
Wow.
mean, I can't tell you how many people I've helped serve medicine to, and that were diagnosed with something that, was no cure for.
Right.
Just take this prescription pill or whatever for the rest of your life kind of thing and live with these symptoms, or, and combo kind of come in and just kind of clear out all toxins, viruses, any bacteria, all things you can think of that maybe affecting the body, or just stagnant energy and trauma on a deep, like, cellular level. And a lot of people will just heal from these certain things.
Hmm.
I don't like to say I won't ever say the word cure, because I'm sure the FDA would come
Yeah.
knocking at my door. But yeah, man, it's countless amount of stories. People would just, I get some, that's just sad. People dealing, like, they've been on pharmaceuticals for 7 to 10 years and nothing works, and they're tired of it, and they just said, all right, they're at their last resort. Like, I'm willing to try anything now.
Hmm.
So
Wow. Well, so
yeah,
for those that might not understand what a combo experience is, can
yeah,
you talk about what a combo journey would be like in your studio, from somebody coming in to the whole process of.
yeah. So the way I like to serve the medicine combo, or the way I like to tell people all medicines, I like to introduce people's spirits to their medicine, of the plant medicine spirits, in a good way, so people have a good experience. They're not traumatized or overwhelmed or whatever,
Hmm.
from the experience, and they feel, hey, down the line, if they want to work with the medicine again, they're not scared to work with it again. So I like to have people the most comfortable way. The way I see it is, combo is probably one of the most uncomfortable experiences you can go through, right? And so if I can make that experience a little more comfortable for you, or where you really literally are stepping outside your comfort zone,
Uh-huh.
and you come to this place, and I just make it so comfortable, and you just relax, and you feel all right. You're able to trust yourself. Like, hey, trust me. Like, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's not, it's not, he's confident. He's not, questioning things and whatever,
Hmm.
and he knows what he's doing. All right, I'm in good hands, because the big thing is, combo is really stepping into the unknown. Uh, and a lot of people fear the unknown, right? And there's not many people that say that could tell you their experience from it. And some people probably had horrible experiences from it, and they'll
Right.
probably tell you, don't ever do it, no. And I've had so many people tell me, like, oh, I was gonna go do combo, and all my friends are telling me not to do it, that I was gonna die, or I was gonna go, to the hospital. And people come and do it, and they're like, man, that's it, that's
Right.
it. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people think, like, man, they built it up in their head more, to fear it more than what it really actually is. And
Hmm.
it's a really quick, swift medicine. And that's what I really like about it, as opposed to, like, mushrooms and ayahuasca and peyote. You're in a 3 to 5 hour or 15-hour ceremony.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes, depending on what type of medicines you're on, but this is like, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, usually tops.
Yeah. In
I
and
would say
out.
30 minutes if you're like super toxic on some heavy pharmaceuticals or heavy drugs, then it's going to be like a 30-minute, experience, more or less. But um, yeah, back to, I think, the original question. But so I offer all my ceremonies. We come in here, it's in a circle. We drop in with a little breath work.
Hmm.
After the breath work, I have a little silent meditation. After the silent meditation, I'll open up with opening prayer. After my opening prayer, I offer the first medicine, known as the hape or rape,
Hmm.
tobacco snuff, to get really grounded. After that, we'll then each introduce ourselves in the circle and state our intentions, our prayer, to really amplify the combo experience.
Hmm.
After we introduce ourselves and say our prayer, we do combo, which is said about a 20-minute experience. And then we end it with the Sananga medicine, the eye drop medicine.
Ooh.
So it's just the three medicines. I like to serve them in that order. There's many different tribes or traditions, and people serve them in different orders. But
Hmm.
I find it best when I like to do it to myself, or serve myself in that order, because
Wow.
it makes sense to me. But
Yeah. Ending with the Sananga, that's intense, man.
yeah,
Yeah, the
no
session.
joke.
Yeah, oh man, that's Sananga. Yeah, the session I did not too long ago, we did started with Sananga.
Yeah.
had the hop, or sorry, had the combo, and then Hoppe was offered if I needed to purge more, which I needed to, but I just wasn't ready for the Hoppe. Like I was like, man, I don't know if I'm ready for that, but and but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, those are all three medicines I'm very familiar with. But yeah, that end with the Sananga, whew, man, that's a tough one, man. Really put the icing on the cake with that bad boy.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually do have a lot of people who tap out, or they've done the sangha before, and they come back to like the group sessions or private, and they're like, I'm good, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I'm just here for the combo. I'm like, whatever. To each their own. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, sanga's definitely the cherry on the top, and that's partly is the reason why I do like to save it at the end, because some people will say like people have different pain tolerance, and
Right.
some people would just say I don't leave my eyes alone, like
Yeah.
curse me out or something.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I like the rape in the beginning, because a lot of people do come in already, whether they're conscious about it or not, or just carrying either anxiety or negative energies and stuff. So it is such a great cleansing. And if people are really got a lot of energy to really release, it kind of already might make them start getting well.
Yeah.
And so that's why I kind of tell people, all right, if you're getting well with the rape, it's actually going to make the combo experience even quicker, because I tell people it doesn't take much medicine to kick that door back open,
Right.
because you kind of already opened up and just kind of releasing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's why I prefer it in that order when I do it.
That's beautiful,
But
man.
yeah,
Well, I have a question about the
yeah,
gates. So, part of the process for the combo to get into your system is you burn what's called gates into your skin of some sort,
yes.
and it's basically just brushing the top layer of your skin off, so the medicine has a pathway to get into you. Um, how do you determine how many gates
Correct.
for a person?
That's a good question. Uh, there's quite a few different factors that go
Hmm.
into the equation. I kind of do a quick consultation with everybody, um, just checking in if they are on any pharmaceuticals, if they aren't taking any drugs, any serious health issues. I should know about. Um, Ladies, if they're on their moon cycles.
Hmm.
Uh, like those are like probably like the 4 or 5 things I always try to drop in and check with everybody. And sometimes if some people I can know off the bat, or I kind of could tell, or just intuitively, I don't pick too much, too much into people's lives, but sometimes I'll, depending also like if their size,
Mm.
their how tall, their body weight, if they have experience with medicines already before, if
Right.
they're just like this is their newbie, they've never done no mushrooms or anything. All these things kind of like do help, determine to certain levels of like, all right, how much this person probably can tolerate or whatnot. And,
Right.
um, but yeah, and then the last thing I feel is which is probably one of the most important things is my relationship with the combo medicine, and me constantly working with the medicine, also with myself,
Mm.
for how many years and everything, and just having place it on myself and different body parts and everything, and seeing the reaction and how it feels. And
Mm.
I've done combo more than I can count, but just my relationship with the medicine is so strong that I feel like an intuitive connection with it. So
Most definitely.
a lot of times it just kind of just trusting my intuition. And the way I like to serve people sometimes is a little bit, sometimes more, maybe if it's their first time, the first session, maybe a little more gentle, and start them off light. And then, sometimes if they need it, then I'll go up to, burn a couple more if they can handle it,
Mm.
you know, if they can tolerate it, then if they're up for it, then I'll put a couple more until they maybe, really get well. But some people, everybody's different. Some people only need a couple dots, some people need one dot. I've seen plenty of people get well in one dot, and
Yeah.
it's not so much about the quantity. And sometimes people, I don't think it's a kind of like an American thing,
Right.
or some type of ego thing of like, oh, how many dots you're doing, or like, and I tell people in the end, combo is going to give you an energetic cleanse no matter what. One dot to 18 dots or something like that. You're still going to get an energetic cleanse.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you put a bunch of more medicine on you, yeah, you're going to have that hundreds, thousand, much more peptides or whatever amplified in your body, and
Mm.
the experience is definitely going to be the more intense and everything. But in the end, it's a deeper. Obviously, for more medicine is kind of like a deeper cleanse, keep purging out a lot more. But goes down to everybody's intention with the medicine. You know, not everybody has a terminal illness or,
Right.
you know, fighting cancer or fighting, you know, STDs or anything like that, or diabetes and anything you can think of. You know, some people are coming in and, you know, they're carrying a lot of just negative emotions, anxiety or something. They just need a quick cleanse, and
Right.
it's about going too deep on them. But yeah,
Yeah, and it,
to answer your question.
yeah, most definitely, and I really appreciate the route you took with the answer about you working with the medicine, because that's, I think,
Yeah.
in realms like this, that's really the way that we know is by working with the medicine. You create a relationship with the spirits in the medicine. You create an understanding of how the medicine wants to be utilized. The relationships with the medicine, and I think that's the most important thing is you open your spirit up to accept that spirit, and then that spirit can work through you, and listening to your intention, and leaving that ego aside, and then looking at people that come in and be like, I want the most intense experience, but then you utilizing your understanding of the medicines can really kind of understand the ego and where that's coming from and give them what they need instead of what they want. And that's,
Mm-hmm.
we can't, that in my opinion, with medicines like this, like that's not trainable, right? That's experiential, right? The more we experience this,
Yeah.
the more that we understand it. With me
Yeah.
and energy work is what I do outside of this podcast. When I first
Yeah.
started doing energy work, I was, kind of following a blueprint of sorts because this is the way it was passed down to me.
Yeah.
But then the more that I understand the energies and I put my ego aside and let spirits walk through me and let the spirits of the instruments and all the tools use themselves, I'm just the catalyst for it, right? You want to grab that, you can't shake it yourself. Cool, I'll grab that and shake it. But
Yeah.
it allows our ego to step back and really
Mm-hmm.
just meet the human being and that spirit where they need to be met, and I applaud you for that, my friend.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man, brother.
With your medicine journeys, so we mentioned Sananga and Hape. Are those medicines that you utilize outside of your combo experiences, maybe on just for meditation or for their own usages, not combined with the combo?
Yeah. I keep both those medicines on my, you know, at my house, on my altar, my
Yeah.
medicine jar. There's been times every time I've, you know, I've gotten combo in my eye a couple of times, and
Woo!
that shit
Oh my God, I
burns.
couldn't imagine, man.
And the only thing I could felt that could help it or make it feel better was Sananga, and I like the burning of that was like I don't even know if it was different or not, but it felt like I was the only clear eyes. I couldn't, you know, but there's a couple of times like that, you know, or just even like if I was in pain, I rolled my ankle in one of my retreats, and my foot swelled up like a freaking purple water balloon, dude,
uh,
and I was like experiencing a lot of nerve pains, and I was like laying down. I was like, I was telling the brother, yo, just dose me up, bro. Just dose me up like with the Sananga, because and I wasn't even burning. I had my foot in like an ice chest, and like I was just like just trying to heal the nervous system, so I wasn't feeling nerve pain, and I helped out a lot, stuff like that, you
wow.
know. But as a hape though, that's more of something where I need to get grounded. If I'm feeling stressed out or overwhelmed or negative energy, whatever,
Hmm.
just real quick, just get grounded, cry it out, let it go, and and something, or just even before a meditation, or sometimes before classes or sound baths
Yeah.
or ceremonies. If I need it, bam, I got that right there, and I'll
Mm,
make sure I'm doing it, and then once I'm done out of that zone, and then I'll open the door and let everybody come in,
definitely.
But but
That's
yeah, those are my good medicines. So
Yeah, that's that the Hape sounds very familiar to or similar to my usage of Hape.
yeah,
Like I'll sit with Hape before like before this call today, right? I sat with some
yeah,
Hape, got grounded, got present, thought about you, drew you in.
uh-huh.
In my Reiki sessions, energy sound baths especially, man. If I can get a Hape session in before a sound bath and just get a quick 10 minutes to myself, talk
Yeah,
to my spirits, gather everybody in, clear my ego out, and that's one of my things that like we don't need our rituals, right? We can
yeah,
still be our humanness and our spiritual selves without it, but
yeah,
those are the rituals for me that really help get me back into where I need to be and kind of shut the ego down, shut the story down a little bit.
definitely, yeah, man.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
I had a friend a while back that actually one of the guys that introduced me to Sananga. He was
Mm-hmm.
telling me it was during a men's circle, And he was saying that one of the reasons he likes plant medicines like Sananga, Hape, ayahuasca, things like that, is because they're intense. You know, they're
Yeah.
intense medicines, and especially in our Western culture, we have a tendency to move away from intensity.
Yeah.
The intense good, intense bad. We just want shit to be over and the next thing happening. You
Yeah.
know, and so when we have that intense feeling, especially like Sananga, right? You put Sananga in your eyes, if you rub it, it's going to make it worse, right? And that's,
Yeah.
so you sit on your hands, you cry your eyes out. And for a man, like for myself, like it's hard for me to cry at times, because all the male
Yeah.
stigma bullshit. So I need
Yeah.
that purge. I need that, get that stuff out of my eyes, and
Yeah.
but that's that sensation. It's like, holy shit. Not only are my eyes on fire, but I chose to do this to myself.
Yeah.
And the more I fight it, the worse it's going to get. So I just have to be here, be with my breath,
Yeah.
understand that this is going to pass soon. And then, I mean, that's a lot of life in general, right?
Yeah.
We're going to have these intense moments. Shit's going to come sideways every once in a while.
Yeah.
We find our breath. We move through it. We lean in our peaceful
Yeah.
practices, and then shit gets better.
Yeah. I think there's a big thing about really just like training yourself to to face those experiences that with difficulty, those experiences that really pull you out of your comfort zone, and that are really uncomfortable, to just to do them and to like almost like master them, where you're a master of being in those zones where life does get you in the same zone where like, damn, it's uncomfortable or whatever, like, but like say that like, the past 70 months I've been living in limbo, trying to move house, and we had a few things falling under. Oh, so many bad things happened, but I felt like thank God I always had Kambo or something to kind of like bring me back up, or I just keep working through it, and like, all right, look down the road, don't worry about it. And the bigger sacrifice we did, I mean, in the end, we got like a bigger, best house out of all the houses that kind of fell through.
Yeah.
Like the last one was the best one, and it's finally, it was like a big sacrifice, and I felt like Kambo is a great tool, because there's so many times, like I said, it's like 10-15 minutes of your like discomfort and everything, and for me to have this tool, it's been such a great tool, because like you were saying, like it's hard for us sometimes even to cry, and I felt like one thing I had trouble dealing with this past year or so, or not trouble dealing with, but is having a few friends, pass on, and just not really had time, or I really didn't set a time aside for myself to be to like grieve, or like let it all out.
Yeah.
So when I did Kambo, that was like my time to cry, let it out, and you were here. It was like me, like freaking roaring like a freaking lion, bro. Like just like this wailing, and I finally let it all this crap out. And even the Sananga, like, man, we're like, I told my brother, we served each other, and my boy, and who else out on the weekends, Victor, my boy. I was like, yo, we served each other. We're like, dude, we each served each other. Sananga too, and
wow.
We just laid here. Even when I did it with my wife and my son, we came in here, we in my studio, and we all served each other.
That's beautiful.
Or whatever. I served them, and then I kind of served myself. but anyways, my boy showed up at divine time when I was going through it, and he backed me up. My boy Victor. It was like, it's something that like, it was like each time is like, you really set that time aside for yourself to go through those uncomfortable experiences that really just kind of help you just level up, and help you just let go of all that crap you're holding on to, whether it's mentally, physically, spiritually, or whatever, emotionally, and like on a deep cellular level, just let all that stress go, and just kind of like just trust and let it go. And you always feel that instant, I call it like Kambo clarity, or like the inner peace, like right after Kambo. And like, no matter what you're going through, and any hardships or plan, anything that you might feel difficult, like it's like that. Almost like, I'm not saying that the wife solve the problem for you, but it might show you the answers, or it just may like just tell you relax, just let it all fall into place, and don't stress over it. Kind of like, that's what I love. Like I love cannabis and all these other medicines too, but each medicine does something different, and what Kambo does, and what Sananga does, or Hape, and everything, they're all great tools, in the tool chest. Mushrooms, ayahuasca, all these good psychedelics, DMT, everything, And I tell people, it's just the biggest key is kind of like is knowing how to use them, and knowing when to use them, and not in a good way, not like it's a race,
Right.
not like it's a competition, not like, hey, let me go smoke bufo, do ayahuasca, and eat mushrooms all in one weekend kind of thing, you know.
Right.
Where some people have trouble kind of like doing that all in, you know, one experience, you know. So, um,
Well, I think
but yeah,
you had a good point too about our Western culture about more is better, right? More is
yeah,
more intense, and a lot
yeah,
of times we think that, and there's people that I know that have never done anything before, and like no hallucinogenics, nothing. And then all of a sudden they come back and they're like, yeah, I just did ayahuasca for 2 weeks straight. I'm like, was there like a step into that? Like you just like dove right in, and now you're doing 14 ayahuasca journeys, and one,
right,
you've never even smoked weed before, right?
right.
So and I'm not dogging that, but it's just
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
interesting.
I hear
Like,
it all the time. I hear it all the time,
oh
bro.
man, it's like to me, it's like no, a person with no tattoos at all going into a
Yeah.
tattoo shop and like, give me a jugular tattoo. I want it right here. Get fuck off, right? My first tattoo. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
crawl, right? Let's start with like, I love my mom on your arm or something, Make sure you know what you're getting yourself into first.
Did you
my
say
my
juggalo?
tattoo artist calls that hoodie hard.
Did
When
you
you
call
got,
that is it a juggalo? Or what is
yeah, right,
it?
yeah, the juggalos, yeah.
Oh man, that's too funny, dude.
Oh, that's good shit, man. But so with more plant medicines now that are starting to be used, right, and
Yeah,
starting to get more well, I guess they're not legal yet, but they're decriminalized. Up in Washington, they basically just
yeah,
decriminalized all plant medicines.
yeah,
Now we have MDMA assisted therapies, which MDMA is not a plant medicine, but it's a
yeah,
psychoactive. We have all these different medicines that are being used
yeah,
and decriminalized, and now they're being more accepted. So for you
yeah.
and with 8th Chakra, do you have plans of maybe expanding your medicine offerings as these things start to come to light and to become more accepted into humanity?
Um, I don't know. It's kind of a heavy. It's a weird question. I wouldn't want to incriminate myself. Like I said, we used to do so much stuff already. We do this stuff, you know, that we can obviously advertise about. And
Right,
I thought people, man, if you come into the studio, then you
right,
know, or you're gonna be in, you're in with the end, you're in with the community, like, you know, there's a lot of stuff I tell people in person that I'm not gonna obviously put on Instagram,
right.
and even though shit's like fucking changed now, where everybody like, yo, come to my, you know, ayahuasca ceremony, and you know, it's like it's all out there now,
Yeah,
you know, at a time when it wasn't like that, you know, a couple years ago or 5 years ago, or definitely not 10 years ago at all, you know.
yeah,
And it's just time to change, and you know, I feel like you know, what I do outside my space, like in the retreats, that's where I kind of like I'm more openly and like, hey, we're gonna, you know, experience some plant medicines or some stuff,
hmm,
you know, on this retreat, whether we're in Sedona or whether we're going to Peru or something, you know. And but as far as the space here, you know, as soon as they decriminalize, I'm sure mushroom use over here in Orange County will be doing, or be at least doing more like mushroom sound baths and stuff like that, you know.
hmm.
Um, but as far as, you know, I don't really want to even be, I mean, like I would do, it would be a small, you know, dosage. I wouldn't have people, you know, I don't really like being indoors myself too much with on mushrooms. I'd rather be outdoors.
Right, yep.
So,
Yeah, not
yeah, it's
serving
pretty
people
much it,
heroes
you know?
doses and send them
Yeah.
around a sound bath.
Yeah. I've had people who come here on heroic doses, and that's kind of cool, but like whatever. But, you know, as long as you know they're being smart, and
Right.
you know, and there's someone else is driving them and shit. But yeah, you know, I don't know. Other than that, you know, I'm sure maybe someday down the line,
Hmm.
DMT and maybe Toad will be more legal or not. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah. So
It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next like 5 to 10 years, with a lot of these
yeah,
medicines and it's a, in my opinion, like when corporations and like big media start catching on to this stuff
yeah,
is when like the doors really start opening in good and bad ways, right? The bad
right,
ways of it's getting popularized now, people want to just do it just to do it and they don't have the right
yeah,
understanding of why they want to do it. It's just like, hey, Will Smith did ayahuasca, so maybe I should do ayahuasca, right? That sounds
yeah,
cool. But
Right.
and so in a way, it's good that it opens up that understanding that these are things that are now being able to be openly talked about and maybe not demonized like they used to. But
Yeah.
also that popularity makes it very dangerous because people think that like, oh, now anybody can do this because the celebrities are doing
Yeah.
this, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, this is something actually I've been like meaning to talk more about, and I'm actually kind of I made a meme about it or a post last week, and I'm
Okay.
gonna start for the next couple of weeks be posting more about this subject. But um, we live at a different time, just from like the 10 years ago when I really dove deep into working with plant medicine myself.
Mm.
Like you know, the community's changed drastically, and for good or bad, however you want to see it, people have gone more on social media or whatever. It's more out there. And, it's cool and all for, like if you're doing it right and with the good intentions and whatnot. But I tell people, it's different now. Like, we live in a time where 10 years ago, it would have taken you, 10 years or more or less, good, 5 years or 10 years to find all the medicines you were trying to do, all the psychedelics and
Mm.
combo and ayahuasca and bufo. And, it would have taken you, a good, some time,
Yeah.
right? Because it was not out there. It wasn't so much on any social media, Facebook, Instagram, anything like that. But now we're at a time where shit's so much already processed and changed, and you know, uh, everything's out there, and you can do all 10 medicines in freaking 10 weeks or less, like.
Definitely. Yep.
And I'm getting a lot of people who are actually going to places, or people who may not have the best intentions or experience with these medicines,
Right.
and they're just like serving everybody like it's a freaking a festival party or something, where like, hey, I just did. There's people, they used to come here for combo, but they went down to Mexico. They ended up doing bufo and then ayahuasca, and I was like, well, why would you do that in that order? At least maybe the bufo at the end of the ayahuasca, like the day after or something. But
Yeah.
I told them, like, I was like, you guys just went on a spaceship to outer body, near death experience, came back, you had no time to process or integrate that. Then like, here's a drink of ayahuasca for like a night or two, like.
Yeah, that's intense, man.
That's like, and then how it's like, here's another spaceship, like he's like went from jump from one, like teleporting, like, and then they're having trouble like getting grounded and they're integrating back into society, and they're like, asking me for advice.
Hmm.
Some people are hitting me up from different states saying they feel negative energies or entities attached to them still, because they did bufo a year ago or something, and it's crazy. And I tell people all the time, it's the only thing I know that could help them is combo.
Right.
And the reason I only speak of this is I experienced it firsthand, where a good friend of ours, a younger yogi, used to come to my yoga classes back in the day, went out to one of these festivals.
Hmm.
It's super trendy now and whatnot, but he went to this festival, got some, bought some mushrooms off some weird random dude, did a little hippie flipping, with some acid or some shit.
Okay.
He came back from this festival and he was like, had some negative energies attached to him. His family and everybody was getting all these weird messages. He
Mm.
was like not himself. He was saying all this weird demonic shit, and his family ended up sending him to like a mental institution or
Mm.
whatever, those places for like, a couple of days. They drugged him up. They couldn't do anything with him. They let him out. And his family was like, all right, here, now you do something with him. Kind of like, we're
Yeah.
like, and I told him they're going to need at least 3 sessions of combo. He came to the first one, and that one was super tough. It literally was like an exorcism. And
Wow.
I literally had my elder come by here first, and who was like some Peruvian elder. And he tried doing like a cleansing, a limpia cleansing on him. And he was like, he looked at us, he was like, nah. Like,
Wow.
he was like, put the combo on him.
Call the big guns.
Yeah, and it was crazy. So what we did first, because we couldn't calm him down, we were trying to hold him down, is we got the Sananga bottles and we blasted him in his eye like a water gun, dude. Like a lot, dude. Like fucking, and it looked like the demon in him was so pissed off. My boy looked so contorted. It
Wow.
scared the shit out of me. I'm kind of joking about it now, but it literally was kind of traumatized me for like a week or two, where I had to like, I don't know, it took me a minute to like process and shit. But
Yeah.
to see your friend looking like a demon, and it was weird, dude. It was
Damn.
scary as fuck. After the Sananga, and he calmed his ass down for like 5 minutes or so, we just burned his ass in the back real quick, threw on some combo,
Uh-huh.
threw up. He came back for a second session, did the second one, did it more normal, and then he kind of just chickened out for the third one. But
Okay.
but it really fucking, like, his family already says that's it. Like, you know, how got rid of the negative energies or
Wow.
whatever possession or what do you want to say was attached to him.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And
Damn.
like, so, you know, so I tell people, and I've seen other people too that I have served. I'm just telling you the most wildest story, but you know, a lot of people who did feel ungrounded. I just served someone this last week who was been feeling ungrounded, I think probably for like a couple months.
Okay.
You know, after smoking bufo somewhere else and with some other people. And I tell people, you know, it's you know, just because it's available, you know, it doesn't mean it's the right person sometimes. You know,
Right.
there's a lot of people out there, you know, I call them Instagram shamans, you know, they, you know,
Yep.
like just doing it for the gram or some shit. Like, you know, they just want to be like in the limelight, you know, everything, you know. And
Yeah.
it's not something you should like be, if you're right off the bat. It's just showing a lot of negative intentions with people, like, you know, what they're really trying to gain out of it, you know, for their more ego or something,
Yeah.
as opposed to being of service and for their spirit, you know. And so people will be doing these medicines with people who I don't think are the best space. You know, I'm not trying to judge them or, you know, cast, you know, you know, shadows at people and or whatever at people, but it's just what it is, you know. And people
Yeah.
are doing things now when, you know, it is what it is. If you hear the stories, you know, and I'm
Right.
not a big gossiper and whatnot, you just hear them because I'm in the community, and
Mm-hmm.
it's unfortunate that people have to go through those experiences. I tell them, but sometimes, you know, the universe will show them, all right, maybe they did that very crazy experience with that person, and they came in over here and like, oh my God, right off the bat, you sit with a combo a lot different than so and so, or their ceremony is way different, like what you sit with the medicine. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, this is the way I do it, you know.
Right.
Like, everybody does their own, you know, and you know, I'm not here to, you know, say who's or what better or what. It is to each his. You know, everybody has a different vibration.
Yep.
You know, they're going to be aligned or called to whatever experience. And in the end, like I said, you know, it's I want people to have a combo in a safe space, in a safe way, in a good way, and, you know, or whatever medicines we are offering here. You know,
Definitely.
not just like without any good intentions or integrity.
Definitely.
You know.
Well, with any of these medicines, for me, what the advice that I was given a long time ago, like, don't get me wrong, like, I fucked around with the hallucinogenics when I was a teenager. I wasn't doing like set and setting. I wasn't like having intentions. I was just taking a face full of acid and just doing whatever the hell I do. Right.
Yeah, me too. Right.
Right. Yeah. But we opened those doors somehow. But
Yeah.
you know, like the message that I got when I started responsibly using utilizing these medicines was basically when the student's ready, the teacher will show themselves, right? And so, like, if I go out looking for an ayahuasca journey, or if I go out looking for this, that, and the other, it's not the same as like it just calls to me, you know. And I had a lot of experiences with combo, to sit with combo many years ago, and it just never felt right. Either my work didn't work out, I had my kids, blah blah blah. There was some kind of factor that was like, it's not your time, Adam. And then I met this dude, and we'd known each other for a couple of years, and then, you know, we kept talking, and it's just it drew me to it, right? It called me and said, "Hey, Adam, it's time for you." You know, it wasn't my ego saying, "You know what, Adam, you need to fucking throw up your ass, man. You got some shit inside you need to get out." No, it was the medicine that called to me and said, "Hey, Adam, we're ready for you now. Come on to me."
Right.
But it's, you know, we got to let that ego go, and a lot of that,
Yeah.
that intensity that we're looking for is all that ego. You open yourself up to the idea that the experience can happen. You find these medicines to help you amplify that experience, and then sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But the expectation, that's just a resentment waiting to happen, right? You go in there with expectations, like you're gonna be let down one way or the other, right? And so we just open ourselves up to the medicines. If we're ready for it, we're ready for it. If we're not, that's cool too. You know, I think that's a bigger test for our ego, for us to maybe want to do something, but then hear that deep, deep message of, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much to that, man. So did you do a documentary recently?
So no, we're in pre-production.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, slowly starting production now.
Hell yeah.
On a combo documentary, and I haven't told too many people about it. I'm pretty probably we'll start hearing more about it. Probably on my launch, probably like an Indiegogo, little GoFundMe kind of campaign shortly, probably like a week or so.
That's
But
beautiful.
yeah, I'll just say it's gonna be following me and a couple other practitioners, and just like our stories of how we became a service to the medicine. Um, and obviously, we're going to dive deeper into the subject matter of Kambo, where it comes from, the tribes as we travel down to Brazil and Peru, meet two tribes that we've been working with specifically. And yeah, I won't say those names now. Just anyways.
No worries.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, it's not anything too crazy, but we've been working with these tribes, and we want to just share this story in a good way with integrity, and because you know, I feel like it's my calling to kind of to share this story with integrity in a good way, because you know, if we leave it up to, like, you know, other people, or like Vice Media or something, Vice News, whatever, like you know, some other propaganda machine, like they're gonna just butcher it, or, you know, scare more people away from the medicine, and you know, I feel like is my duty as like a guardian of Earth, or a guardian of the Kambo medicine, to tell this story in a good way, and just let it be known, like, you know, how the medicine needs to be known. And the best way I could share the blessings with the medicine that has blessed me is by sharing it with other people. And, you know, we want to share that, you know, the story of this medicine in a good way, in a safe way. And with all, I won't get into all the details, but we have a lot of plans and a lot of good visions for not only the documentary, but maybe a series, and nonprofits and all these other things we want to basically launch, or that's going to be launched with this film.
Wow.
But yeah.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Ah, man, it probably feel the spirit of Kambo with you while you're making this. You know, it's wanting to speak through you, to get that message out, to get the story of this beautiful, you know, unabashed story of what this medicine has done for you and the people around you.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, technically we've already been filming on it. Like me and a couple brothers who, and it's just, so we do have a lot of old footage, archive footage. We are gonna, like, the way I see it is like this documentary is going to be telling, like, you know, somewhat like a time capsule of, you know, 10 years more or less of, you know, kind of Kambo kind of coming over to the US and being, you know, kind of hitting the mainstream now, and just kind of where it is, and you know, how, you know, it's one of the most, I believe, one of the most powerful medicines that can help heal the world in many different ways, you know, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And yeah, I think, you know, what we're going to do with this film is really open up a lot of people's eyes and their minds to, you know, healing themselves holistically and not being so dependent on pharmaceuticals and other man-made stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel with everything that's been going on in the world and the society, you know, going on, without touching too much on the topic, I feel it's been kind of a blessing in disguise, because a lot of people have been forced, or are forced, or waking up to, hey, how can I be more health conscious? How I need to take care of myself, whether or not they want to go to the hospitals or not, or get some vaccine that's, you know, experimental, or, you know, but yeah, or how I could try this vaccine from the forest. It's been around for thousands of years, and straight from the frog, and, you know, yeah, you know, so.
Yeah. Well, I just brought up a question that you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but did anybody come to you with like to help them with COVID?
Yeah. Okay. I've had a lot of people. Yeah, I don't mind talking about it. I mean, it's a lot of people that either, and I don't even know if I even want to call. I don't know what cold. I don't even know how to say. I don't even know what to call it, COVID or not.
Okay.
But a lot of people did come to me with viruses, or flus, and others sick and shit or whatever. I don't know. So I don't know how much I believe in COVID or not, or myself, but everyone who came to me that was feeling sick or symptoms, Kambo made them feel better. People
Wow.
who came in to me with who got the jab or whatever, one of them or whatever, which one it was, and were feeling negative side effects from that.
Mm-hmm.
After Kambo felt better.
Wow.
So anyone, I've had people, oh, I got the negative or I got a positive test after even doing Kambo, but they feel like, I got a positive test, but I feel great.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, dude, and I even told the person, how much do you believe in those tests? Kind of like, I don't know, I could go for days, but I was like, do you really believe those tests are really real or authentic, or like, how much do you really believe about this virus? And the lady didn't even answer me back. Kind of blew her probably mind out, like, over, like, what the hell, like, but I really, so I haven't really felt, I never got any type of sickness, for whatever amount of time. I did a few times felt like a little under the weather because whatever, my kids, babies, maybe,
Totally. Germ factors,
but,
man.
I would just, I would feel under the weather for like a day or two if I do. And if I felt really that bad, I could just do combo and bam, it would just flush it out. And,
yeah. It's interesting that, like so many people would turn to, and I'm not judging. This is just like an open statement. But, the combo's been around for thousands of years, probably longer than that. It's been used by indigenous tribes for longer than we can even imagine. But it's not quote unquote vetted, right, by science. But then we have this new chemical that we've developed that is not tested, that doesn't really have any track record of working, but we're willing to more go towards that chemical experimental thing than this natural thing that's been around for thousands and thousands of years. And then we're going to talk shit and question the thing that's natural, but we'll put all of our faith behind this new experimental thing. It's just it's just kind of a mind fuck. It's like there's all these things that have been around for so long, but because the person in the white lab coat didn't vet it, we don't believe it. We're not even going to consider it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's frustrating, man.
Yeah, man.
But I think that also opens it to the idea that it's available for everybody, but it's when your consciousness is ready for it. Right.
Yeah.
If you take, and there's a woman I had on my podcast a while ago. Her name's Leo Russell, and she was part of the very instrumental in the decriminalization of plant medicines in Washington.
Oh.
And one of the things I loved about her is she started two nonprofit organizations. One's called the Entheos Society of Washington, and the other was called the ADAPT program. Now, the Entheos Society basically caters to people like you and I, people that would be totally down for plant medicines, right? There was basically written all over our faces, yes, we support plant medicines. The ADAPT Society is basically geared more towards people that want to follow the rules, right? So whatever the law is, we're going to follow that. And if the law says we can't do that, we're not going to do it because the law says that. So she started two companies to cater to both sides because eventually everybody needs some plant medicine in their life. So she made this really staunch, right-wing, Republican-looking website that's called the ADAPT program, and it has all the scientific findings and all the things, that all those people need. And then the Entheos Society has like Alex Gray artwork all over the place, and like all these cool dope ass imagery, a lot like your hat that you're wearing now. So it's like she's placating to both sides because she sees the idea that both sides will benefit, but not one message will encompass both sides.
Yeah, definitely,
so, so I kind of applaud her for that, but it's like, man, that's a lot of damn work, girl. You're having to put on two completely different faces to say the same message.
Yeah, right. That's crazy. Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, but she's doing it, man, and we got plant medicines decriminalized in Washington, so hopefully not too far we'll be able to utilize those in more of a regular basis. Maybe going to the weed shop and grabbing some mushrooms, grabbing some marijuana, doing everything in the one spot.
Yeah, man, that is the future, dude.
It is, man. Colorado, I think, is pretty close to that. We're not too far behind in Washington. So you had talked about some of the retreats that you do that aren't, maybe not able to be put out there as in the public. How can people talk to you about these retreats if they're interested in reaching out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could, for the retreats, I have the Deep Meditation Tribe. That's like on Facebook or Instagram. But
It's called the
we
Deep.
I kind of slowed down on retreats this past year, over a year or so, because we were in the process of moving.
Okay.
So I probably did literally only like 2 to 3 retreats out of a whole year, which is a lot different than what I used to do. But um, now we'll be moving in after Memorial Weekend. Next week we should be moving to a new home. So thank God, me and my family would finally be grounded. But I do have a couple retreats. I don't have the specific dates. I'm going to be doing one in Sedona,
Okay.
probably in a couple months, and we are going to Peru in November of this year.
Wow.
Those are the ones that are open to the public. I do got a couple other ones. I haven't fully followed through on the plans, but I've been invited to, like Seattle, or not Seattle. I'm sorry, Oregon for sure. I think South Oregon or Portland, Oregon area.
Mm-hmm.
And also Austin, Texas.
Oh, right on.
I've been invited to, and I might go make happen. So, yeah, I guess you'll see if you follow us on the Deep Meditation Tribe retreat page. I'll be posting them. Start get back in the flow with that and start announcing more events and stuff once I can lock these dates down.
Beautiful.
But yeah, I just been kind of been really trying to balance everything right now. I got this move of my family been trying to happen, and then this documentary film kind of just manifested, or kind of we picked up and restarted production on it.
Yeah.
This past 3-4 months ago, and it's kind of been like just balancing everything, like the studio and everything. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think everything's gonna be finally aligning in place and for the next few months and everything. So
good, brother. Good. It's good to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, when your documentary comes out, man, if you need a platform to talk about it on, I'd love to have you back.
Definitely, brother. Yeah, man. I love what you do, and I feel really aligned with you already, like soul family. And yeah, I'd love to come back on here and talk again.
Most definitely, brother. And I'm going to start following Deep Meditation Tribe. I didn't know you had that on Instagram, because I make my way down to Portland quite a bit. So if it can work out when you're there and I'm there, I'd love to come check you out, man.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Yeah, definitely. I'd love to make that happen. And I've been people have been asking me to go out there to Oregon for like a year or two, and I've been kind of like hesitant on the whole COVID because of that. But
yeah,
definitely feel like this year might be the year I'm going to manifest and make it happen. So
there you go. Yeah, much love, brother. I thank you so much. I appreciate all your time.
All right, brother. Take care.
Thank you so much for spending time with Deva G and I. Check out the show notes for any links to where you can find Deva, his offerings, or his retreats. And please like or subscribe and share the podcast. Appreciate all your love and support. Obeisance and love. We'll see you next time.